everyone, so this is going to be the second part of me working on my book. I suspect there'll be 3 parts to this, maybe 4, but it's been quite a few weeks since the first part, and it's also sort of like a update on all my personal projects. The first one being that I actually finished my Mermaid book and it's available for purchase right now. It's been up for a week. And thank you so much if you've ordered one. I've gotten quite a few orders, been packing them up and sending them off. Some people even got theirs already, which is really cool. So a lot of the past few weeks was me working on my Mermaid book and getting that ready to be printed, and I ordered them, and I ordered 100 copies. They came all nice and bundled up together. I love the way the colors turned out. It's really, really vibrant, and it's very true to how they actually looked when I was painting them, which is amazing. So I'm definitely going to be using that printing service again because I really liked them. It was just Mix and Print. They're in the UK area-ish, but I love the way those turned out. Another update before I get into the book stuff is that I reopened my store, and a lot of people have made orders, like I said. I had my shop closed during basically the first half of 2019. I just needed a break from it to focus on school, and then the world kind of turned upside down and I didn't want to open it when tons of stuff were getting sent back to me because countries just weren't accepting mail at the moment, which was really frustrating with Patreon, because tons of people, well, not tons of people, but like maybe about 4 people got their stuff sent back to me, maybe like 5. So I'm actually holding on to people's Patreon stuff so I can send them out when the country starts accepting mail again. But pretty much most countries are accepting mail, so my shop is open. There's not a lot of new stock. It's mostly, my Mermaid book is the newest thing, and if you are a patron, I actually have all of my leftover stock from that up. You might see a clip here where I have everything kind of spread out and I'm organizing all my leftover Patreon stock. I didn't want to recycle it, so I made it password protected on my shop, so if you're a patron, you have the password to access the leftover stuff I have to purchase if you're missing it or if you just want it. And I got all my book pages sketched out, and I think when we left off I was wanting to do media tests, and I did that, and then now I need to start the colors, so that's where we leave off here. So I'm importing the book into Mix and Print, which is the website I'm going to be testing out because they now ship to Canada, which is great. They have a Canadian-friendly website now with like the currency, and they ship here, which is good. And I've seen Dina Norland use this site a lot for her books, and I've ordered her books before and I've always really liked the quality, so I kind of want to do the same quality. And their website is really easy to use. This is just like the proof. It's kind of cool because you can flip through and see. I'm really excited about this. Their production time is actually pretty fast, so this should be ready soon. To actually have my first ever like little zine booklet in my hands, I'm quite excited. I encountered a weird problem where when I exported these from InDesign, there's a bleed around every page, so an extra 1/8 of an inch, but on the inside gutter there isn't because they're attached, so they should just spread across the page. There's no bleed in the gutter. This is actually going to get covered by the gutter now that I see that. It might need to be fixed. So when you export as pages, it doesn't have a bleed for this, so it just takes a portion of the other page. So every single page has its own page, then a portion of the other page, and then the portion of that page from the bleed from this page, so it looks really weird. It looks like that. See how there's like lines? Which probably would be hidden anyway, but I don't want that. I don't want it to be like that in case you can see a part of it. It'd just be weird. So I looked up how to avoid that, and you can split your pages so they look like this, and then each page can then have its own bleed on that side. So I was able to add a bleed here. Then when I export these as individual pages, they'll have the bleed. And you just do that by unchecking allow document pages to shuffle, and then you can drag them. So instead of it being, well, that's not how it goes. Instead of being with its page like that, you have to drag it away. Oh, I messed it up, but like it lets you drag the pages around basically and break them apart. now I'm working on the colors for my backpack animal book, and it's proving to be kind of difficult because I don't know why the way I do color, sometimes I feel like I default to the same sort of color palette. Like, let me just, for the first one here, this is the first page, I kind of like how I made this very like bluey, sort of inviting, naturey thing, but I don't like the way these look right now. Like, they match it too much, and I can't decide if I want the background to be white or if I want it to be like a pale color. I have a Pinterest board just open on the side here of all these like palettes that I kind of liked. All of this, these different kinds of art. I'm not doing the book digitally though, it's going to be painted with watercolor. But I sort of just have these beside me just to remind myself of like different palettes I could possibly use, or just like as inspiration, because otherwise I will default to what I always do and the whole book will just kind of all be bland, and I kind of want the palette to vary throughout the whole book. So I just have Pinterest open here. Like, see how this one is like very, very blue heavy? Like, I never really do anything like that, so that could be something interesting to try. This one is extremely warm, which I might do for some of the more like fall pages. This one's very pink and muted. There's just a lot of options, and I think it's good to look at other art to kind of like refresh your art a little bit. Without totally like, you don't completely copy someone's palette, obviously. You just use a mixture of them as inspiration. So here I'm just coloring the pages, figuring out what the colors would be. The reason why I'm coloring every single page digitally before I paint it is because I like to have the colors completely planned out before I start on the final. I just have way more success that way. It prevents me from having a bunch of trial and error and having to start over and just getting really frustrated. So when you have it planned out beforehand, it's much easier, especially for a project where it kind of has to have some sort of continuity, like it has to have a flow from page to page. With the colors, I wanted a bit of variety. I didn't want it to be like the same palette on every page because I wanted to show different atmospheres and scenes and stuff like that. So planning out the colors, this actually took me like probably 30 hours, maybe more, to plan all of this out, which is way longer than I expected. Like, that's a really long time to spend planning colors. I was definitely being too nitpicky, but I'm very happy with what I came up with. I don't want to show you everything because I don't want to spoil the book, but I showed you a few glimpses of some examples of what the sort of feel will be, and with watercolor hopefully it becomes even more like warm and soft, which is, I want the book to have a very cozy atmosphere to it. So the colors are done, and now it is time to start lining the pages, and you'll see that next. So now I printed off all of these sketched out pages, and I printed them on like quite big paper, actual size, and now I'm transferring them to watercolor paper using a Prismacolor terracotta pencil. It's a color erase pencil. It's kind of erasable, but I just like it because it has hard lead and it's good for lines and it blends in with the watercolor. So I'm doing this on all of the pages, and once I've done that, then it's time to actually start painting them. And the next video for this is going to be when I'm actually painting them. Right now I'm just getting it ready to paint, and I'm excited to finally put some color on this and like start working towards the actual final pages, because that is going to be really exciting. I try to not like spend, like, I don't labor over the details with this. I just make sure that everything is loose and sketched and like not stiff. because most of the details will be covered by the watercolor anyway. I do add some hatching here or there. But you won't really see most of these lines in the finished painting. That's usually how it's usually covered, or I have to like reline some parts. This is just like the underdrawing. And the reason why I use the terracotta is just because it blends in nicely. It's not as harsh as black. It's just like a nice neutral tone. Gray could work as well, but then like gray might kill the color because it's like a black, it's like a light black in a sense, and black kills color. So I use this terracotta pencil. Some people might outline areas depending on what color they'll be, but I just do everything in brown. It kind of gives a unity to the book as well. So all the pages will have the same sort of like way they're constructed in a way. I can probably do 2 pages within a half hour to an hour, and I have 16 spreads to do. I've already done like 5 or 6 spreads, so once I'm done lining them all, I'm going to color them all. I want to do it in stages like that. I still need to do the cover and back cover and the spot illustrations for like the insides and the patterns. I'm going to do the cover at the end though, once I know what the book looks like. So I really hope you enjoyed this update on how the book is going. A lot of the last month, well, a lot of it was me sketching it out. Like, I didn't really show you the clean drawing phase, but I did take all the thumbnails from the last video and make them into cleaner drawings. So the next video will be me showing you me painting it, finishing lining all the pages, and starting to assemble it and figuring out the cover, backpack animal, or like a sticker sheet, or I want to do something that goes with it. I also need to do the patterns for the inside cover and like the little spot illustrations that go on the like title page and all that stuff, and I have to do all the graphic design for the title page. It's gonna be a lot, but I am excited to finally be almost ready to paint the pages, because I've been saying I'm almost ready to paint the pages for so long and I haven't been, because I keep underestimating how long things are going to take, but it's really almost time. So I hope you enjoyed this update, and I hope you're looking forward to the next update, and thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.